A long time ago, I was asked to do a video about how to behave toward women. And I'm laughing because the person who asked it probably didn't know me very well. I'm what I would call myself an introvert. And when I say that, I'm being soft on myself, because others would call me an extreme introvert, would even label me antisocial, because I cannot handle people for very long periods of time. I prefer to be by myself, with myself, and I want everybody to just leave me the heck alone. That's actually the reason why I make videos, right? So I don't have to be in front of people to say the stuff that I want to say. I'm here in front of a camera, much more comfortable that way. So yeah, asking an introvert who doesn't like being around people to talk about how to behave around women, you gotta admit that's pretty funny, right? It's it's hilarious to me. So that's one thing. But I've been thinking about this thing, right? About answering this question, because knowing a man, knowing how to behave toward women or around women or with women in an adequate, or at least an adequate, if not a decent or appropriate way, is important. It's a very important thing. So, you know, I've also turned 40 this year. I figured, you know, hey, I'm 40, I should have something to say on the topic. Yeah, so that's why I prefaced this video with that long-winded explanation about myself. And another thing that you should know about myself is that I'm not what you might call a ladies' man. You know, I don't go from girlfriend to girlfriend. I haven't had many relationships with girls. Or girls. At this age, having a relationship with a girl is illegal, so that's a wrong term to use, relationship with women. But, you know, when I was younger, right, in school, I could count the number of girls I got close to. They weren't even girlfriends. They were more like girl friends, you know, 2 words, girl friends, on the fingers of one hand, you know, less than 5. So, you know, take this video with a big grain of salt, or maybe like a boulder of salt, because the fellow who's telling you these things, well, you know, hasn't been around women all that long, so there you go. Yeah. There really has been only one woman in my life, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, one woman that I've actually been with, if you know what I mean, all the way, and that's my wife. The rest of the girl friends that I had, and maybe, I don't know if I even had, well, no, I did have one girlfriend in my 5th grade, I think, that I even got to kiss once or twice. So anywho, yeah, it's just my wife. When it comes to the whole experience of being with a woman. Just so you don't think I'm some kind of religious nut, it wasn't for biblical reasons or religious reasons. I'm not religious. I don't go to church. I don't even really consider myself a Christian these days. So it's not about, you know, keeping the promise or whatever the heck that is. No, it was really about trying desperately to find the right person before I went all the way. And when say desperately, I do mean desperately, because for an introvert, an extreme introvert like myself, to get close to a girl, a woman, is difficult at best. And so it's nothing short of a miracle that I have my wife. And I'm truly grateful that she took the time to know me and put up with me all these years, because we've been together since 2002. Yeah, we got to know each other in late 2002. We got married in December 2003, and so we've been together ever since. And she's put up with me all this time. Just a second, I gotta check the mic here. I want to make sure that it's getting this. I'm using a live mic because lots of you complain that the sound isn't very good, so fine, using a live mic. Hope it helps. And I've also got some notes here that I wrote down before this video, just to make sure that I cover all the bases. So I'm going to be consulting them. You better sit down for this, because it's a long video. You know me, I make longer videos. If you don't like them, well, you know, there's some shorter videos. Just, you know, click on that YouTube button at the top and, you know, find some shorter videos. So, you're back to the fact that I'm a very difficult person to live with, you know, part of being an introvert. So I'm truly grateful and thankful that my wife has put up with me all this time. It's not a picnic to be with me. It's not a picnic. I don't wish it on anybody. My parents also know what I'm talking about. I may seem, you know, affable and smiley and I don't know what I seem like in my videos. You know better than me. But I can assure you that most of the time I'm a headache. So, okay, long preface over. Let's get to the stuff I want to talk about. Women and men, they're different in the way they look at the world. I'm not going to generalize here and say that women look at things this way and men look at things this way, because what we as a species are finding out more and more these days is that there's a spectrum of sexuality, right? We can no longer think about man and woman in black and white terms. We're discovering that really some men are more effeminate and some men prefer to be women or live as women to varying degrees, and it's the same with women. Some are women in the traditional sense, and some prefer to be, you know, live their lives as men, or even undergo sex changes to become men, hormonal treatments and so on. So it's a spectrum. I can't be generalizing. So the best I can say here is that you have to treat each man and woman that you meet, or rather each woman that you meet, right? Because this video is about women, as a person, and you have to discover, just as you do with everybody, if you're a considerate person, you have to discover in which way they're different from you, and you have to learn to respect those differences. Because, you know, each person is unique. They may fit certain stereotypes. All of us, you know, fit certain categories, but none of us can be pigeonholed. I think that's becoming clearer and clearer every day. Now, my own personal history, which I've talked about with women, you know, it doesn't really give me much background and knowledge to go on, but I've already said that. This is just one of my notes that I wrote down. What I will say is that when you find a good woman, you'll know it. And I knew it when I met my wife. And, you know, I had this voice deep inside me. kept saying, Raoul, you've fucked up a lot. Don't fuck up this one. To keep this girl, hold on to her, because she's really special. And if you manage to build a relationship with her, it's going to be wonderful. So it's not really to my credit, I had this voice inside me that wouldn't shut up. And I had this beautiful girl at the time. She was a girl, was barely 22, who liked me a whole lot and wanted to be with me. So I'm glad that that I didn't screw it up. And I'm looking at the microphone because the battery's low, and I don't. Anyhow, yeah. I will say this: not every woman is a flower. Not every woman deserves to be treated nicely. And just like not every man deserves to be treated nicely. I'm not being chauvinist here. I'm not being feminist here. I don't want to be pigeonholed into one of those two categories. It's just that, some people are assholes no matter what their sex is. And downright nasty, and they don't deserve to be treated nicely no matter what sex they are, what gender they are. It has nothing to do with gender, nothing to do with race, ethnicity, color, nothing. It simply has to do with the character of a person, the way they behave, the way they are, the way they talk. Some people just, make you go, and you don't want to be around them, so don't be around them. Don't be nice to them. You don't have to be nice to everybody. And the best way to do it, so you avoid nasty situations, is to just keep those people away. Don't get into arguments with them. Don't call them names. Just stay away from them. Put distance between you and them. That's the best way to do it. Ignore them altogether. If they try to get into contact with you, just ignore them. Yeah, very important thing to realize. Women, and this is becoming clearer these days, it's being drilled into us, and thank goodness it's being drilled into us, because it's been a paternalistic society, a patriarchal society where men dominated women for so long in our recent civilization. And some of you know why I say recent civilization. Some of you don't, and in case you don't, you need to look these things up. And, women should have the same rights and opportunities and pay and treatment as men. They should be equal but different. Different, like I stated in my first point when I began the video. Right. Just because a woman's fragile doesn't mean that she's weak. Just because she's small doesn't mean she can't do great things. And just because a woman's pretty doesn't mean they're stupid, or that they can be used as sex toys and objectified, and that you can scream or yell things at them on the street, or look at them on screen if they're actresses or models, and feel free to just talk about their body parts instead of talking about them as people, as persons, as human beings, as souls, as hearts. Just because they have a vagina, doesn't give anyone the right to enslave them and use them in sex trafficking, which happens a lot in Eastern Europe. I think these guys who do that, they should, I would personally cut off their balls and feed them to dogs, stray dogs on the streets, and make them watch while those dogs eat their balls, I swear. Um, the you know, choice is the most important thing in a woman's life, just like it is in a man's life. It's important for us as men to realize that we need to give them that choice. As parents, as boyfriends, as husbands, we need to give them that choice. As bosses, bosses, managers, leaders, governments. God damn you bastards who think that you can judge a woman and tell her she can't or cannot or can have an abortion. Some old fart sitting somewhere in the Senate or the Congress thinks he knows better than the woman what should happen to her baby. Damn you, you old fart, you son of a bitch. You have no right to dictate that in a woman. So, yeah, that's just one of the things I get pissed off about. Yeah, we need to give them choice in life, choice in relationships, choice in growing up, choices in love, and choices in their jobs. Just like men deserve those choices too, but I'm talking about women in this video. Just give you some examples here. Things like clothes that are restrictive. The remnants of this male, checking the mic, male dominant culture. Like dresses that zip up from the back or have buttons in the back. They take the control out of women's hands and put it in someone else's hands. And it doesn't matter if that someone else is a man or a woman. I realize this with my wife and with my daughter now. They constantly need help putting their dresses on. We as men, we never need that help. What the fuck? Excuse my language, but seriously, what the fuck? Why do clothes designers take the control out of women's hands and put it into somebody else's hands when they make the clothes? Why does the woman have to depend on somebody else to get dressed or undressed? Isn't that a form of dominance? It makes no sense, and it angers me. It angers me that my daughter needs somebody's help to get dressed and undressed, and she says, "Daddy, I can't do it. Daddy, help me." Why? She should be able to do that by herself. The clothes should be designed in a way that she can put them on and off, just like boys can put them on and off. What about the high-heeled shoes, right? That make it difficult for women to move or escape from a dangerous situation or screw up their feet. Why? So their legs can seem longer. So we can go, look at those long legs. Wouldn't I like to get my hands on them? What the fuck is wrong with us? What about, flimsy materials in women's clothes that can be torn easily? So some fucker on the street can just rip the clothes off and expose the woman. How about that? Isn't that a form of dominance? Tell me. Deep breath, trying to keep calm here. And I realize some of these things, there's two sides to the coin, right? So I realize some of these things, they're meant to celebrate the beauty of women's bodies. And believe me, they have unique and amazing shapes. And I love the shape of a woman's body. And it's just, there's no way about it. They're just so beautiful. And we do need to celebrate that beauty, but not in a way that takes away from their rights, their choices, in a way that disempowers them. So I understand, why clothes are made thin and shape-fitting, and shoes are made, thin and tall to accentuate women's beauty, but you have to also realize that some of these practices, the remnants of a past where the males dominated and abused females. And there's no way getting around this. You just look at recent history, and I'm talking about the last few thousands of years, you cannot tell me that males haven't been absolute pigs to women during these thousands of years. You cannot tell me that as a whole the male gender hasn't fucked it up royally. And royally is a bad term here, but hasn't fucked it up big time when it comes to this. And so it's time that we start getting it right. And, you know, here's some would say that, but women choose to dress this way, you know, and act this way. You know, that's they want to buy these clothes, they want to buy these shoes. They're all fighting over these high-heel shoes and dresses. Well, you know, when little girls, they're raised to believe that that's how they should dress and, you know, talk and behave. This is no longer their choice, you know. When they look at TV shows and they look at movies and they look at other girls that are growing up, you know, the more mature girls that little girls look up to, and those girls are behaving that way, and their friends are behaving that way, and the boys expect this, and even the mothers fall into this shit behavior and encourage their girls to behave this way, buy that way, otherwise the boys won't like you. You know, it's no longer their choice. You know, they're being brainwashed into thinking that that's okay. And that's when the choice has been taken away from them. To realize this, just like with many other practices in our society, we think we have a choice, but we choose, the way we choose to act is because that's what's been ingrained in us. Do you realize that a lot of things that happen in our lives, a lot of things that shape us, where we think we have a choice, we don't? It's because those behaviors, those patterns of thought, they've been ingrained in us since birth, by whomever, doesn't really matter who. And what matters is that we start questioning these things, right? That's a duty, I believe, that each one has. Each one of us has that duty to, as we mature, to sit down with ourselves alone and start questioning our beliefs, start questioning everything, trying to figure out where it comes from, why we behave this way. If it's wrong, can we improve? If it's right, how do we continue to do it? How do we encourage others to do it? It's part of the reason why I'm making these videos. You know, I've thought about these things, and these are things I believe in, and I'm trying to get others to see my point of view. So let's finish up here. I'm running over 20 minutes here, and by this time I think some of you have fallen asleep or went to look at some cat videos or something. But I think we need to start treating each woman as a person. I think that's obvious by now, right? Given what I've said. As a human being, equal to you, to me, but different, right? Respect, honesty, and where needed, keep your distance, right? Remember those people? Yeah. Some people just, you know, they're toxic and need to be kept away. And the good people, the good women, oh my God, you just need to hold on to them. You need to hold on to them tight for as long as you can. If they're your girlfriend or your wife, you better keep them close to you forever. Well, you know, you need to give them that choice. If they don't want to be close to you, then you gotta let them go. But you know what I mean, right? You gotta keep them close. And if they're friends, make sure you respect them, you hold them in high esteem, and you cherish their friendship, and you cherish those relationships, because believe me, good people are hard to find. They're few and far between. Most people are egotistical, egomaniacal, concerned only with themselves, and Yeah, anywho, that's why we need laws, right? You think laws were put in there just to control everybody, good and bad? No, the laws were put in place to make sure, to ensure a baseline, a common, decent baseline of behavior across the population. You know, because not everybody's a good person. Not everybody's a decent person. But, you know, that's a topic for another video. Women, right? Women. Respect them, give them choice, and cherish the ones that are great. Okay? I hope this video has been helpful to you. And yeah, just realize that the reason I don't make videos very often is I tend to close off into myself, and I don't like to share my feelings quite a lot. Also, I'm involved in so many projects. You wouldn't believe. I mean, it's a poor excuse, I know, but just to set up the video for this darn thing took like 2 hours out of my time, because if I didn't get the lighting right, if I didn't get the audio right, I might have 3 sources of audio here just to make sure I get the right audio. If I didn't get the focus right and whatnot, because I'm doing it all myself, then I know some of you would bitch, just like some of you bitched when I made those shaving videos and I forgot that the water was running. And to this day, people bitch on those videos, and the water's running. Oh, God. So, you know, it just discourages me from making videos when I get people like that. Plus, I'm renovating my house, and I'm doing the work myself as well. Plus, I run my own business with my wife, you know, which keeps us very busy, because she's an author. She writes and publishes books. And I handle the photography, the video for her shows. I mean, she's got 2 shows that we have to keep going. You know, websites, Facebook pages, Google Plus pages, emails, orders, contracts. Those of you who are entrepreneurs, you know the drill. So, you know, finding time to make videos can be challenging. Plus, I have a little girl. A little woman in her right, and yeah, I have to take care of her. So anyhow, thanks for watching. If you watched this far, you're an angel. You're a saint with unbelievable patience. See you next time. Yeah, thanks for sticking around.